Now, earlier at that manifesto release, my colleague Mosmi asked a few questions because the Congress, in its manifesto, hasn't mentioned anything about the one pension, one rank scheme. So that question was put to Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, and they dismissed that question. Watch this.
आपने ओपीएस को लेके लगातार जो है झंडा बुलंद किया है, तमाम सरकारें आपकी, उन्होंने ओपीएस का वादा किया था. चिदम्बरम साहब, you had promised OPS, and in Himachal and Rajasthan you implemented OPS, but in the manifesto the OPS scheme is missing. So is there a introspection that it's not viable economically? Is it that?
It's not missing as such. It's very much on our minds. But please remember the developments that have taken place in the last 4 months. The government has appointed a committee headed by the Finance Secretary to review the NPS and the demand for OPS and to find a way in which the objectives of OPS can be financed by a funded pension scheme, which means the government has come around to the point of view that while the OPS delivered benefits to the pensioners, the NPS made it sustainable. Now a committee has been appointed under the Finance Secretary, and unless we receive the report of that committee and review it, it would be premature to take a stand on the OPS-NPS controversy. It's very much on our minds, and we will come out with our position once the committee's report is received.
So here are the promises that the Congress party has made in its manifesto that they've released today. They call it the Nyay Patra. Promise number 1, nationwide caste census. Remember that Rahul Gandhi has been speaking about it at various fora during his Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra as well. Promise number 2, probe in the electoral bond scam is what the Congress party is saying. They have been hitting out hard at the BJP over the scam details, which are now the alleged scam details, which they say are now public and are available. Promise number 3, guaranteed job to youth with 1 lakh salary. So for your first job, graduates are guaranteed a job with 1 lakh salary per annum. Promise number 4, 1 woman in every family will get a lakh rupees per year is what they have promised. Also, what they promised is 400 rupees per day as minimum wage to farmers. This includes Manrega as well. MSP as per MS Swaminathan report as well. A legal guarantee for MSP. Promise number 7, loan waiver and legal status for MSP. This has been promised by the Congress party in its manifesto. Also, what they've promised is that they'll be scrapping the Agnipath scheme, which has been introduced by the present government. Promise number 8, raise 50% cap on reservations. So looking at legal ways as to how to raise that reservation cap. Promise number 9, Manrega wages to be increased as well. Like I said earlier, they are looking at various options as to how they could do this. Promise number 10, law for civil unions of LGBTQIA plus couples. That is promise number 10. These are some of the key highlights of the Congress's manifesto. My colleague Rahul Gautam is now joining us live from the Congress headquarters. Rahul, the big takeaways, of course, from the Congress party's manifesto, the promise of jobs to youth in terms of their first job, the promise of 1 lakh rupee per annum for women, every woman in every household as well. The BJP, of course, saying that, you're promising 1 lakh rupees to the youth as far as your first job is concerned. What happened to the 2019 promise of 72,000 that was given by Rahul Gandhi? Are you implementing it in states?
Well, one thing I must tell our viewers that, when draft of this manifesto was complete, P. Chidambaram, who was heading the manifesto committee, he took a day off. He went through the draft again just to see the financial viability of the promises. And the very next day, this draft was put forward or presented before the CWC, which later on ratified it. And then it was finalized, and as we can see now, the manifesto has been released. So as far as Congress party is concerned, they are pretty confident that they have already gone into the financial feasibility, and whatever their promises, they're certainly going to deliver and implement once they're going to come in power. But there are many issues that still needs to be resolved as far as this manifesto is concerned, and many opponents of Congress party, they are in fact already raising it, saying that you're going to give a job to a graduate, 1 lakh rupee per annum, but are you not making an Agniveer out of those graduates? Because are they going to get regular jobs once their apprenticeship is over? How are they going to deal with those unemployed people once their tenure is over? So there are many things that people are asking, that how are you going to implement it? Have you gone through the financial feasibility and viability of the promises that you are making? But as far as Congress party is concerned, they are confident that they have already gone through the expenses and expenditure, and in fact it was headed by none other than former finance minister Mr. Kisaan Nyay. So they're pretty confident that whatever they are promising, they're certainly going to deliver it once they come to in power.
Well, they've made several such definite promises in that election manifesto. It remains to be seen, of course, how the electorate views these promises. Rahul Gautam, thank you so much for joining us with those details from the Congress headquarters.